Stoic Lessons That Could Change Your Life, Part 1. Introduction. Stoicism is a philosophy that has stood the test of time, offering invaluable wisdom for living well. At its core is developing virtue, cultivating emotional resilience, and embracing life's uncertainties with courage and acceptance. This essay explores Stoic teachings that, if practiced regularly, could profoundly transform one's life for the better. Part 1 focuses on 3 foundational Stoic principles: living according to nature, focusing on what you can control, and living one day at a time. Mastering these lessons strengthens presence of mind, optimism, and inner peace despite life's inevitable ups and downs beyond direct control. When consistently applied, one's well-being and happiness become anchored from within through character rather than unstable external factors alone. Live according to nature. Stoics observed natural laws governing all with rational order and purpose. Robertson, 2018. By extension, one's nature as a rational, social being implies certain duties like personal excellence and service to others. Virtue emerges from aligning exertions with our shared nature through cultivating wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Happiness stems from fulfilling life's ethical functions reasonably rather than fleeting pleasures incurring negative side effects or dependencies. Resilience is built accepting life's difficulties stoically as natural rather than unjust circumstances warranting distress. Overall, living in harmony with universal and human nature enhances equanimity through consistency with reality itself. Robertson, 2018. Focus on what you can control. Stoics realized well-being depends on things within direct control versus judging contingencies unpredictably changing. Robertson, 2018. Internal factors like judgments, efforts, and motivations can be influenced through continuous refinement compared to unstable externals prone to forces beyond the individual. Anxiety diminishes recognizing one determines attitudes toward difficulties, not difficulties themselves. Focus strengthens on virtues diligently cultivated whatever life brings through fortitude empowering rational response versus helpless reactions alone. Freedom emerges accepting events impartially rather than fixating efforts on unrealistic outcomes. Robertson, 2018. Overall, greater control over mindset than circumstances liberates allowing prosperity in life's uncertainties. Live one day at a time. Rather than anxiety over unspecified futures, Stoics promoted savoring each moment available through presence and gratitude. Robertson, 2018. Tomorrow's pains lose power contemplated dispassionately compared to obsessing ruminatively. Letting go unrealistic expectations for happiness souring daily routines revitalizes intrinsic enjoyments lost amid hassles of perfectionism. Patience arises perceiving challenges as stepping stones for strengths developed through cooperation with difficulties peacefully rather than fighting them desperately. Robertson, 2018. Overall, the past and future become neutralized as learning experiences when detached from regrets or fears obstructing joy in life's transient gifts. Serenity enters each day through living intentionally yet easily within nature's flow. Part 1 Conclusion. Mastery of these foundational Stoic practices cultivates a balanced, virtue-guided approach to living optimally within life's uncertainties. Aligning with natural duties, embracing unavoidable life challenges non-defensively from an equitable perspective, and immersing fully in each fleeting moment available nurture inner joy, purpose, and presence of spirit resilient to difficulties viewed rationally as life's natural facets compared to mere impediments alone. Robertson, 2018. When habitually practiced, one's well-being sources intrinsically through philosophy instead of unstable external experiences alone. Part 2. Embrace hardships through amor fati. Stoics reasoned all happens lawfully given nature's determination involving humanity for the whole's benefit if not apparent. Robertson, 2018. Suffering becomes recontextualized as destined opportunities developing fortitude through wisdom gleaned however harshly. Love of fate inspires meeting difficulties bravely yet thoughtfully without distress or rejection of reality itself. Struggles transform from meaningless afflictions into learning experiences nourished through cooperation over fighting their occurrence desperately. Overall, difficulties become cherished occasions for growth through detached acceptance of life as naturally including discomfort. Robertson, 2018. Develop detachment through impermanence. Constant change characterizes existence inherently according to Stoicism. Nothing remains entirely under individual control or belongs to anyone permanently. Robertson, 2018. Detachment from fleeting possessions, status, or relationships brings peace by focusing on relational essence versus transient forms inevitably fluctuate. Appreciation arises for life's gifts while available through contemplating their impermanent nature ahead of losses already natural. Equanimity enters through enlarged perspective on small troubles within grand natural transformations beyond personal influence alone. Robertson, 2018. Overall, impermanence acceptance fosters graceful adaptation to life's fluctuations, reducing suffering by reorienting purpose toward virtues transcending temporal conditions alone. Serenity enters amid inevitable change through detachment from conditions and attachment to character. Practice simplicity and frugality. Stoics promoted moderate, unostentatious living attuned with nature's essential provisions without excess or deficiency. Robertson, 2018. Simplicity involves non-attachment to superfluous comforts clouding priorities and provoking artificial needs dulling present joy available through basic provisions. Frugality nurtures charity by conserving funds for community aid while discovering intrinsic fulfillments compared to fleeting pleasures dependent on consumerism. Independence arises from contentment within nature's reasonable gifts rather than insatiable cravings. Overall, a tranquil life emerges from simplifying routines and embracing essentials with gratitude. Robertson, 2018. Transform hardships through perspective. Stoics accepted suffering as inevitable yet saw silver linings through wisdom gained if faced virtuously. Robertson, 2018. Reconciling events peacefully preserves reason during trials rather than reacting emotionally, intensifying afflictions. Perspective shifts strengths into light through considering life as naturally containing disparities and others' conditions potentially worse requiring compassion. Struggles strengthen character if approached gently as educators revealing strengths inverse to assumptions on what defines goodness versus harm alone. Joy emerges through empathetically enlightened viewpoint versus superficial fulfillments alone. Develop resilience through self-sufficiency. Dependence on variables outside individual control brings vulnerability according to Stoicism. Emotional independence arises from self-sufficiency cultivated through virtues like courage and contentment with life's basic privileges. Robertson, 2018. Relationships strengthen based on choice versus desperation by nurturing others out of compassion rather than need for completion. Hardiness emerges knowing internal well-being regardless of changing external circumstances. Overall, an anchored life follows through contentment within versus unstable contingencies alone. Robertson, 2018. Practice gratitude daily through reflecting on life's blessings, large and small. Appreciating what's meaningful reframes mindset beyond temporary troubles. Develop equanimity in the face of jealousy by being content with one's natural abilities and circumstances. Compare progress to your past self, not others. Cultivate compassion through envisioning life from other perspectives, especially those suffering. Wisdom arises reconsidering situations empathetically. Nurture courage through contemplating fears calmly and embracing challenges as opportunities to overcome weaknesses developed through fortitude. Strengthen integrity through consistently alignment actions with virtuous intentions despite ease of superficial choices. Character guides conduct authentically. Accept apologies gracefully and forgive transgressions willingly to liberate energy for positivity instead of resentment's burdens.